but because of the outpouring of emails, I mean, I have received, along with the board members, so many emails in the last 2 to 3 days. And first of all, I want to thank everyone for your outreach. I think it's important that people have a voice. And I do like to respond to emails, but I can promise you in the last 2 days, if you emailed me, you did not get a response potentially, because I think there's about 200 in my draft that I need to respond to at this point. But I did want to actually share a couple of things, and I wrote something. I hope you don't mind if I read it, because I think it's very important when we're making decisions that are this critical, and we want to do what's best for kids so much that I have to paint the picture to you so you understand the recommendation that my team and I specifically am about to make to the board. First of all, every single email I got, no matter what anyone said congratulations and gave me well wishes. And I think that speaks volumes of this community. And I thank you for that, and I'm very honored to serve as your interim superintendent. Thank you to those who have been respectful of diverse opinions. These are challenging times, and the worst thing we can do is point fingers at each other, make those who are fearful feel unheard, or make those who want students in schools feel like they don't care about the health and well-being of others. Do you realize both of these viewpoints are based on what is best for students? Making others feel bad about their feelings is not appropriate. It's not going to help us come together as a community to actually prevent the increasing positive cases we are seeing in the health department data. What this pandemic has shown is just how important our schools are and how invaluable educators are in the lives of our students. In-person school offers a wide variety of health and educational benefits. We are seeing learning loss. We are seeing students struggling every day, socially, emotionally, mentally. You saw some of those students come up today. We can see engagement numbers dropping, as you just saw, and we can see more students not doing as well in class. And we cannot ignore that. And so I'm going to get to how we need to address that together. One other thing that has bothered me that I wanted to call out is I don't want people to say that parents are only looking for babysitters. That's not true. What they are looking for is for their children to be happy. And if you are a parent, you know that's what you live for, is to make sure your children are happy. And so what parents want is for their kids to be happy, positive, and excelling. And the worst thing that you feel is when your parent is struggling, is when your child is struggling. So basically, I'm speaking from a parent's point of view. Many of you saw last Friday, I have 2 daughters, and one of them has Down syndrome. And I can promise you, she's 21 now. Last year, she was in remote learning in March. And it was quite a challenge to keep her engaged in learning. She loved getting on Zoom to see her friends. That I loved at that point too, because that was the part that she actually liked doing. So I understand those parents that have children with special needs, those parents that are struggling every day. I understand that. I understand that very, very well. On the other side, I understand that this virus is real and that the fear people have of it spreading is real. You heard Jennifer Corso share some of the data. You've seen the health department data. You've heard it from some of the speakers. The number of positive cases are rising, and we have to validate how our teachers are feeling and how many of our families feel as well. They feel safer at home. This does not mean that teachers who want to continue with remote instruction do not care about their students. Actually, the majority of emails I've received from teachers, they start out every time with, I want you to first and foremost know how much I want to be at school with my students. They just don't feel like it's a safe time to do that. The transition to remote learning has been hard on everyone. And for all those who have contracted the virus at all in our community, or who have a family member that is ill from the virus, I pray that you have speedy recovery. I also wanted to call out the family of Miss Gaither. I wanted to make sure you know my heart goes out to you, all of us. Our heart goes out to your family. The loss of a parent or a grandparent, a wife, a child, is a tragedy, and one that I am so sorry you're having to face right now. Once again, I want to reiterate, the fear that people have is real. As far as those folks, and we have freedoms, that's what's so great about our country. We have freedom of speech, we have freedom of everything. As far as those who want to be disruptive, to make your point, please focus that energy on doing what's best for our students. Our data would not be where it is if we would all focus that energy to find solutions for our kids, even when they're at home. Because whatever decision we make tonight, there is a large group of kids that are still going to be home, learning remotely. And so it is our responsibility to make sure that they have what they need. I'll tell you, when we got in this profession, we made a commitment. We made a commitment to education, and I am challenging everybody to go back to your why. Everybody to go back to your why of why we do this work. I met a teacher at Parkland at the Ed building this week. And guess what she was doing? She was on her way to deliver incentives to students' homes who had logged in during the week and had made that incentive. That is what it's going to take. It's going to take creative, out-of-the-box thinking. The students that were in here today, there should be no student up here crying, because what we should be doing is going to their home, making sure they have what they need. What do we need to do? Do we need to do spirit days every day where they get to dress up? What do we need to do to reach every child while they are home learning? That's where we need to put our focus. I'm almost done. Someone asked me in one of the emails, what if this were your brother, your sister, your mother? They asked that. Well, that was the wrong question, because I come from a family of teachers. I think it's in the blood. And so basically, I have 4 siblings that are teaching right now in classrooms in Florida. They've been teaching since August, and they've been teaching 5 days a week. And Tiffany, I called Tiffany this morning. She teaches 3rd grade. She has 19 children in her classroom. They do not have a screening process as kids come in the door. And they're not able to social distance in the classroom. They wear masks. So I bring this up to say that there are many people around this country doing this same thing. And I will say she's seen success. They've had limited spread in her school. And so one thing that she was worried about was this. She teaches ELA to 39 3rd graders. And she said, Tricia, out of 39, 9 are on grade level right now, 9. She teaches in a very high need school, and 9 kids. And so what her focus was I have 9 kids that are not on grade level. And we all know the research, and that is that students that are not reading on grade level by 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to not graduate high school. And guess what happens then? They're set up for a lifetime of struggles. We have to get our kids reading. We have to make sure they're literate. I've had people tell me, we can catch them up. And I'm going to tell you, that's what we're going to do. But it's going to take everybody, and it's going to take outside of the box thinking, because if it was so easy to catch kids up, would we have, after decades, have achievement gaps between white students and Black and Hispanic students that we have today? If it was that easy to catch up, our data would not look like that. So I'm going to tell you, if you've got ideas for how to do that when we do get kids back, we got to do whatever it takes. I don't care if it's year-round schooling. I may be up here one day asking for year-round, because we've got to meet the needs of our kids. I say all that to let you know that I'm here for our students. My whole team is here for our students, our families, and this entire community. And the decisions we make will always be in the best interest of all of those groups of people, especially our beautiful students, who we are so honored and privileged to serve every day. As I read my recommendation, and then the board can decide how they want to move forward, please know that with so many of our students still in remote learning, we have to come together, re-energize our learners, and make sure they are seeing success. Please join me in thinking outside the box, in helping kids connect with their education, but also connect with each other. I implore everyone to please, let's start working together to do this. I also implore everyone to please be safe as possible. Follow the mitigation strategies, not only in school, but please outside of school, so that we can bring our kids back to school. That is what everybody has said they want to do. So I implore us all working together on that same vision. So my recommendation, and this is going to be based on the fact that it is really late in the year. We don't have much time left. And to bring back another group of kids when we don't have a lot of time left can be extremely disruptive, even to homes, to schedule, to families. And especially if we're bringing them back, sending them home, bringing them back, that is not a good thing for kids, because the worst thing that happens is our kids are so excited, you turn around and send them home, and it is not good. And that doesn't mean safety is not critical, though. So here's my recommendation. I don't think we should bring back any groups of students before January. I think we need to not bring back any other groups at this time. But I will say what I think is very important is that when we get after the holidays, that we bring folks back in a little bit more of an aggressive timeline. So my recommendation is we do not bring any groups of students back now. On January 11th, we work to bring back, if the data is right and we can come back together and make sure, I'm hoping with all of us working collectively as an entire community, it starts to go back down. But if it's right, on January 11th, I'd like to bring back grades 2, 3, and also then start with our middle schoolers in grade 6 and bring them back in cohorts as we had planned. The week after, January 18th, bring back grades 4 and 5 who are going to be in cohorts, so those numbers will be down, and then bring back grades 7 and 8 in their cohorts. And on January 21st, which would be the first day of the second semester, bring back our high school students. That is my recommendation. I will tell you, someone asked about a survey. I haven't mentioned this to the staff, I do want to get a survey out to every one of our teachers and every one of our families. Once again, we have now, 5 weeks before Christmas or 6 weeks, something like that. We have time, if this motion is accepted, to do what we need to do to get feedback from teachers. I want feedback on how they're feeling about the mitigation strategies in their schools. I want feedback on how many of them want to be in schools, how many of them, where and I'm not saying, we need the data. How many parents, if we were to come back in January using the schedule, want to come? Has your mind changed? Are there more that want to be home? And then we can do some really good planning, and we can be ready for those that are going to return. We've been ready. Those people that say we don't have the kids in school right now, come and watch them. You can't. If you're a visitor, you can't. Sorry, but if you can, if I could take videos, you will be very amazed by our kiddos. So that's my recommendation, and we really thank you for the extended time.